The SciComm Collective acknowledges the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation as the traditional custodians of the lands we study, write and record on, and their sovereignty was never ceded. Hello and welcome to the SciComm Collective.
Different useful knowledge in different areas.
The joy is sharing it, making science accessible, the ignored final step of the scientific method. Every different perspective.
Science is culture.
The SciComm Collective brings science and science communication to you.
Welcome to the SciComm Collective. I'm Ke, a current Master of Science Communication student here at UWA. This episode is a bit of a time capsule release. We're dropping this today to gear up for the return of EnviroFest on campus later in 2026. Last year, our student interviewers, Emma and Ray, captured the perspectives of those turning big ideas into reality. It's one thing to talk about sustainability as a broad, abstract concept, but it's quite another to transform it into a tangible event that people can actually experience. While the faces and teams behind our campus initiatives change from year to year, the heart of EnviroFest remains the same. UWA Student Guild is the primary force that coordinates the stalls, the space, and the massive logistical efforts required to bring the community together. To understand the blueprint of this event, we spoke with Julia, the environment officer of UWA Student Guild last year, about their vision. Hi, I'm Ke, and today I'm here with Julia from the UWA Student Guild. And could you please introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, I'm Julia. I am studying Bachelor of Marine Science and Master of Environmental Science at UWA, and last year I was on the UWA Student Guild as the Environment Officer.
Last year when Guild organized EnviroFest, what is the Guild's mission behind that event? Like, what is your motivation to organize an event like that?
My mission was to kind of create environmental awareness and connect students with environmental charities whilst being on campus, and just to create a really fun environment for students and to learn more about the environment and nature and climate change.
How does the Guild really curate the list of organizations they invite? Do you track student focus on environmental issues? Do you study the audience beforehand, or do you just invite out to organizations?
I definitely looked at what students, what organisations could align with students before reaching out to organisations and charities and stuff. But for EnviroFest, I honestly just wanted as many charities there as possible. So I did reach out to a lot of different fields and a lot of different charities, and managed to get a couple down, which was awesome.
From the organizer's perspective, is there a particular theme you're looking for when you're organizing EnviroFest?
I didn't really have a particular theme in mind. I wanted it to be about nature and sustainability and the environment, I guess. And I kind of just wanted a lot of different organisations to be there. So we had some which protect animals, like wildlife shelters and stuff. And we had some more focused around advocating for climate change, like Australian Youth Climate Coalition and Conservation Council of WA. And then we also had lots of the natural sciences clubs at UWA, such as the Marine Biology Club, the Zoology Club, SNAGS, and the Oceans Institute Student Society. So then they can provide opportunities for students on campus and kind of raise awareness about their club. So it was quite multidisciplinary, I think.
What is the biggest challenge you came across when trying to organize EnviroFest?
A big challenge is I had quite a small budget to do it within. I organised the whole event within around $900, which was a very small budget. I could have probably spent more of our budget on that, but it was the start of the year and I was very frugal with my money. I was just trying to spend as little money as possible on it. So we did a lot of things we DIY'd the EnviroFest sign out of recycled cardboard and spray paint and some recycled rope as well. And stuff like that really kept the budget down. But I think definitely a challenge was the budget. Looking back, we could have done things like hired a stage and a better sound system for the bands to play and stuff. So that was a bit challenging on the day. But overall, I think it went really well.
Beyond the vibes on campus, EnviroFest is a vital place to empower students to act on environmental issues. The university didn't act alone. Like Julia mentioned, a diverse range of community organizations joined the fold, each arriving with their own strategic targets of awareness, advocacy, and recruitment. One of the most pressing issues represented was the protection of cultural heritage and environmental policy. Emma caught up with Judith from Friends of Australian Rock Art to discuss their advocacy work.
Hello, I'm Emma and
I'm Judith.
hi Judith.
Hello. And we're representing Friends of Australian Rock Art. Our quest is to raise awareness of what's happening up there. And particularly, we have a petition to Tanya Plibersek asking that she does not give that final approval to Woodside's 50-year extension of the most polluting gas plant on the borough. So that's really why we're here, to raise that awareness. And we are delighted to see the number of students because we feel these are the decision makers of the future. And we're very impressed by how many of them know about the rock art and how endangered it is.
While some groups focused on policy and protection, others were looking for fresh hands to put in the dirt. Doug from Trillion Trees Australia explained why a university campus is the ideal place to find the next generation of environment protectors to replenish their long-standing volunteer base.
So, hi, I'm Emma and we're with...
Doug Laurie.
Hi Doug, and you were here at the EnviroFest today for representing?
Trillion Trees Australia.
Can you tell me about what brought you here today?
Well, we got an invite from this crew saying they'd love to have us. So, yeah, I guess we just hopped onto that and it was the perfect setup. It's exactly the demographic we're trying to get in with. So, yeah, perfect opportunity. Just an invitation, said yes.
So when you say the demographic you want to get in it with, what's your goal here today?
You know, we've got a huge list of volunteers that come with us and they've been volunteering for some of them up to like 30 years. We've been around for over 40 years and we've got a big list, but it's not hugely self-replenishing with the new young crowd, those people that might stick around for another 30 years. So, yeah. Perfect coming to a uni and getting some Enviro students who not only are a young crowd, but also might bring in some more specialist knowledge with them and cultivating that kind of sharing atmosphere. Yeah.
And do you feel like you met those girls today?
Absolutely. Yeah. Really good bunch of people, a huge range of interests and kind of level of commitment. Some people seem to be like, oh yeah, maybe I'll come once a year and that's fine. And they're happy about that. And then others are just really fired up for whatever reason. They've all got their own reasons. But yeah, absolutely. It's been a really, really great day. Really worthwhile.
Do you find the events like this are important?
100%. Yeah. No, this is essential for us getting the message out and not coming across as preachy or, really wanting. It's sort of a very passive and easy way to just make contact with people and you never know who you're going to meet. So yeah, it's good.
Thank you so much. That was lovely.
Connecting with the community often means bringing the message directly to where the people are rather than waiting for them to come to you. Danny from Kenyana Wildlife shared how their presence at EnviroFest helps bridge the physical gap between their rehabilitation center and potential new supporters.
Okay, so I'm Emma. Hi. And I'm here with?
Danny.
Hi, Danny. Who are you here with today?
I'm here with Kenyana Wildlife.
And with Kenyana Wildlife, can you tell me about what your purpose was in coming to EnviroFest today?
So we attend a lot of events like this, and I think it's very important to raise awareness about Kenyana Wildlife and what we do, and hopefully recruit a few more volunteers to help us in our mission. Even if they don't volunteer, the awareness, people knowing about us, what we do, if they find an animal, knowing that what that process is, that they can bring it to us. Like all of those things are what we do these events for. And also we can sell merchandise and it helps pay for the care that we give to the wild animals. So, and it's just spreading the message. We're looking at doing other events in Fremantle and there's a couple others in Applecross, and it's just expanding your reach, I guess you could say.
It sounds like you are really valuing getting out into the community.
I'd feel like if you only stick to your area, your message doesn't get out into those other areas, which is why we attend events like this and other markets and festivals as well.
Thank you very much for talking to me for that. That was really nice to get your thoughts.
There are also organizations looking at daily habits that impact our environment. Ray spoke with Catriona from the Keep Australia Beautiful Council about how their mission is centered on long-term behavioural change rather than waste management.
Good morning, Ray.
Good morning, Catriona. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you.
So let's just start off with a quick introduction about you and the organization you are representing today.
Sure. So I work for the Keep Australia Beautiful Council. I'm one of the program managers and I manage the litter enforcement program.
Right. Would you like to tell us like a brief overview of what the organisation is about and what its actions are directing towards?
Sure. So at Keep Australia Beautiful Council, our main goal is litter prevention and education. So we strive to educate about the consequences of litter and the importance of litter making its way to a bin. So we're sort of quite different to other waste management organisations like Waste Sorted Schools or Containers for Change, which are all about the recycling habits of people. We're more about the behaviour change of litter prevention, so getting people to understand that the importance lies with getting the rubbish into a bin so that it doesn't end up in our waterways and then have that roll-on effect of the environmental consequences.
Right. Thank you. So what was your goal in when you were thinking of attending the UWA EnviroFest? What was your main goal? And do you think at the end of the day it was met?
We had some really great engagement. So definitely met those sort of goals and expectations. For us, this was a great opportunity to target, our younger demographic of, like-minded individuals. So that was some really great engagement for us. And in particular with our litter report scheme, we sort of find that great opportunity for us to engage with people who are very aware of the consequences of littering and are seeing that as a great call to action in being able to help get that messaging across.
That's wonderful. So just personally, Katrina, what do you think of initiatives like the UWA EnviroFest, and what do you think is important about such events?
I mean, it's obviously, a great forum to get like-minded businesses together, great for networking. We did have quite a few conversations from students about potential educational opportunities. So, that's a great starting place for conversation for students. The Department of Water and Environmental Regulation, which is who we come under, although we're not profit, we come under that umbrella of the state government. So the department offers a graduate environmental program. So that was a conversation that we had with a few students. So that was, be a good opportunity for that to occur. But then also, just generating that awareness. I think probably, 20, 30 years ago, Keep Australia Beautiful Council was a lot more sort of visible through sort of, television advertising and so on. So a lot of people knew about the council, and they still do, but not so much the younger generation. And a lot of streaming services have replaced television advertising or have replaced television viewing, rather. We don't advertise on television currently because it's just, completely unaffordable for us to do so. So it is challenging at times for us to create and increase that visibility. So this is a good opportunity for that next generation, really carrying the torch of the Keep Australia Beautiful Council, which has been so well known such a long time. But we need to kind of get into that next generation to keep it going.
Right. So you mentioned that TV is not your main medium of media engagement. So what is your usual go-to method?
So social media is definitely, at the forefront. And then we do radio campaigns and also we do sort of bus shelters and sort of bus advertising at times. But mostly our advertising is through event participation. So a lot of it is through our collaborations with local governments or other associations that we have collaborations with, or memorandums of understanding. So, that visibility comes from, engagement, collaboration with those associations. But, I'd say mostly it's kind of, word of mouth and that event participation that gets us that visibility. Yeah.
Finally, we'll look toward international conservation efforts that are powered right here in Perth. Linton from the Save the African Rhino Foundation shared that his goal for the day was to break the secret for rhino conservation and find new ways to connect with the younger generation.
Hi, Linton. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Ray. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Morning to you too. So would you like to start off with just giving us a brief overview of what Save the Rhino Foundation is about?
Save the Rhino Foundation was set up in 1987, so it's been going a very long time with the Perth base. It has been active supporting conservation of both black and white rhinos in Africa. The majority of the funds that we raise, which is about $700,000 a year, goes towards projects in Zimbabwe, with lesser amounts to Namibia and a little bit for special projects, if required, in South Africa. We have a committee of which I'm one. We're all volunteers. We have one full-time person who's the president, who takes $0 for anything, including his expenses. It's his passion, his life. And he's been involved for the whole 37 years, or whatever it is, 38 years now. Nicholas Duncan is his name. He's the driving force, but we support him as best we can. So there's the rest of the committee are based here in Perth. With the funds that we raise, we don't like just to give money, because that's not very clever. We provide equipment, tools, like drones or batteries or radios, or provided something like 26 vehicles, secondhand four-wheel drive vehicles over the last 30-odd years, that sort of thing. And we do pay specific invoices, such as in the Save Valley in the southeast of Zimbabwe, our main project, where most of our money goes. We essentially pay for a rhino monitoring group of rangers, pay their salary, we pay the training and the management of that as well. And then we often pay a whole lot of ad hoc things, improving their living quarters. We provide a lot of goods like field kit, clothing, boots, tents, motorbikes, and so on. We also raise funds through running a couple of safaris every year to Africa, one in Zimbabwe, which includes the Save Valley, which is quite unique and very special. And then another sort of, let's call it a more luxury safari that goes through Zimbabwe, Botswana, and to Namibia. And everyone who goes on those, there's a lump sum that's a tax-free, a tax-deductible donation to Save the African Rhino Foundation. And the rest of it is all about spreading the word, making people aware of the issues with rhinos in Africa in particular. We're obviously very conscious of the parlous state of rhinos in Asia, but there's quite a lot of other larger international groups that cover that, which we're in constant touch with. We use a lot of their material and keep them informed of what we do too. So, yeah, in a nutshell, that's what we do. It's been successful. For example, in the Save Valley in the last 12 years, they've doubled the number of rhinos in the Save Valley, which is a collection of 26 farms that cattle was all too hard. They put together, took out internal fences, turned the whole conservancy over to wildlife, and now there's about 280 rhinos there, amongst many other animals. And the other point we like to make is that by focusing on, say, a tier 1 animal like a rhinoceros, we are covering a lot of other animals. We're conserving the habitat, we're educating the local communities, we're providing employment for rangers. For every ranger that's recruited and paid for, it's essentially, supports about 10 people in the village. So, for example, when the rhino rangers and then the farm rangers, if you like, are out and about, they pick up literally hundreds of snares every month that could kill or maim any animal, including rhinos. So, yeah, that's probably enough.
Thank you so much, Leighton. So what was your goal when you decided to attend the UWA EnviroFest, and do you think it was met?
For anything like this would be, firstly, awareness, to spread the word, because as one of our committee members says, you can't sell a secret. So it's really making people aware of the organisation, but obviously what we're there for rhinos. If we can sign up some members or get some donations or sell a T-shirt, well, that's a bonus. And obviously it's more than a bonus. We need funds to keep going. But so to answer your question, did we satisfy our aim? So we had a lot of people come by the booth. Some knew quite a bit about rhinos. including in Africa. So there were a few, say, South African students, for example. A lot of people knew very little. Everyone's heard of rhinos, but it's understanding the next level of detail that we try to get across, that there are less than 7,000 black rhinos in the wild in the whole world, that sort of thing. Obviously, it was a student function, so students are not knighted for being wealthy. I get that. I used to be one. And so, for example, we said, all right, well, we put out a bulletin every couple of months just to tell people about what we're up to and some general news about rhinos in general or in particular. So we asked people to sign up for that. No obligation, no fee. We don't bombard your inbox. It's just a couple of times a year. So we had quite a good response. I must admit, I haven't got the list with me. My colleague took it with him, but we probably got about 20 people signed up. And, we're obviously hopeful that the people who came to the booth, and we asked most people what they were doing. Most were students doing biology or conservation, or there were a couple of physicists and others as well, one or two lecturers. We did get one, let's say, older person who I must admit I didn't work out what his connection to UWA was, but anyway, he signed up and gave us a donation. So we got one member. We got a lot more on our list. So it was worth it. It wasn't a roaring success. Perhaps a bit more traffic would have helped because the numbers were down a bit. And I don't know why. Maybe there wasn't enough publicity around the campus or elsewhere. It seemed to be organised in a fairly short period beforehand. So that would be one feedback I would say, is perhaps spend a bit longer on advertising locally and more broadly.
So personally, Linton, what do you think of events like the EnviroFest? Do you think it's and what's important about them? What's your personal opinion?
It's preaching to the converted in that if people go to something like that, they have an interest in the first place, but potentially more broadly, hopefully more broadly. There were obviously every booth has its own focus, and we get that, including our own. And to me, getting a like-minded group of people who are all interested in conservation in one way or another in one place can only be a good thing.
From the Save the Rhino Foundation, you guys you said you did a bit of outreach and include more volunteers, hopefully get some more people to sign up. So what does that include? What does that entail? How do you go about it?
Students in particular did ask. There were several and there were a couple of mentors, for example, that were there, and they all, quite a few said, what volunteer opportunities are there? I guess the quick answer is because, yes, we're a Perth-based organisation, but everything we support is in Africa, so we can't send people to Africa. That's not going to happen. The volunteers that we would hope to attract, preferably they would be members, so they would get all the information, not just the bulletin occasionally. An example would be, I won't make a guess at what the average age of the committee is, but it's well over 40. So, for example, someone who may have social media skills, someone who has can make us a nice glossy brochure. We've got flyers that we update regularly, but people of my vintage perhaps aren't so good at making those look attractive to a younger generation. So we do have social media outlets, and a couple of people keep that alive. But that would be an example. So we could get volunteers to help us at other fundraising activities. There's opportunities to get involved, but it's not perhaps as exotic as getting your hands around some animals at Kenyana Wildlife Refuge or something like that. We understand that, and we can't offer that. If we can involve more people and go to more functions like this in any way, it's got to help.
Thank you so much, Linton. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, Ray.
Whether it is signing a petition, recruiting young volunteers, or finding a social media expert, every one of these stalls arrived at EnviroFest with a clear objective: turning one afternoon stroll into a longer commitment to the planet. Raising awareness is a vital first step, but as science communicators, we know the real challenge is measuring if that awareness actually leads to a shift in behavior. Ray asked Katrina about how they track the impact of their education programs.
You did previously mention about behavioral change, and that's what your organization is sort of directed towards. So how do you actually end up measuring behavioral change? Like, is there like a very visible change, or how do you feel like over the past 5 years or so, or however long you've been with the organization?
I'm fairly new to the organisation, so I probably can't speak too much to that one, to be honest. But we do have waste strategy that we outlines what our strategy goals are over that period. All of the programs running in alignment with that strategy would be sort of what we're working toward. What other things are we doing? We do sort of event surveys and things like that to kind of get an idea of how things are tracking. And also we participate in OSLAM, which is a metric of litter indexing. So that kind of gives us also feedback on how things are tracking.
For the Student Guild, the success of EnviroFest was anchored in strong engagement by proactive marketing effort. While moving toward formal metrics is an ongoing goal for many student-led initiatives, Julia highlights the immense value of the direct, qualitative feedback she gathered from stallholders who appreciated the chance to connect with the student body.
As for the goals, like the missions for the event, do you think you achieved those goals?
Yeah, definitely. I do think we achieved the goals. Yeah, I worked quite hard in the weeks leading up to it to message a lot of environmental charities and try to get a lot of people down. And I focused quite a lot on marketing as well, so to make sure students knew that it was happening and to come down. So I put a big focus into that. We managed to get, I think it was around 40 stalls, which was fantastic. Yeah, lots of different charities, and the feedback I got from them was really great, that they had a good chance to talk to students. Also, it was free for all the charities to have a stall, so it was really like a low barrier entry for them, and it was a really great opportunity.
So how do you track the success of the events? Like, is there any specific metrics you're looking for, or like feedback forms from students and the stalls, stuff like that?
With that event, I didn't track any feedback, and there wasn't really any metrics. Looking back, it would have been great if we could have kind of seen how many students attend and do a feedback form and stuff, but unfortunately I didn't do that. But I did get to talk to a lot of the stall holders about what they liked and what they think could improve, and definitely got a lot of good ideas for improvements to be made this year.
But sometimes the most powerful evaluation is found in a personal reflection. Xavier, a PhD student who volunteered at the event, shared how just being in that environment changed his own perspective on what is possible.
So we are actually representing the student engagement support. All of us, the 5 of us actually came from different disciplines, different groups. Some are master students, some are undergrad as well, and I'm doing the PhD. So we volunteered to be the person in the booth or for the student support group. So actually we manned the sign up for the UWA Grand Challenge booth. Yeah, we get some QR codes there for students to sign up for newsletters and all the activities, events for the UWA Grand Challenge. We promoted during the event also the workshop, which came the next day, which is the actual workshop for the UWA Grand Challenge, where students were asked to think what initiatives they can do to support the UWA Grand Challenge in support for the Sustainable Development Goals. Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah. And what did you think then? Did you get some sign-ons? Did you achieve your goals on the day?
Yeah, I think so. We did manage to get I think more than 10 students. So the room that was I was not on the actual workshop, but I saw the pictures from other volunteers as well who also came in the second day. So they did manage to fill up the room. Yeah, it was a full pack room with more than 10 people as well who did the workshop. So I think we are waiting for the initiatives or for their grants to get into action. So hopefully they can be out this year as well.
That's really exciting because, of course, we know about the Grand Challenges of the Cyclone Collective, having been sponsored by them last year. So that's so good to hear that there were lots of people interested. And also great to hear that you went along with a goal and that you kind of achieved that, which is really awesome to hear. What do you think about like these kinds of events where it's EnviroFest, but obviously some of the stalls might have been more aligned with it than others? What do you think is the importance of having events like that?
Yeah, it's a good venue, of course, to bring in all different clubs, all different societies into one goal, basically on protecting the environment in general. So I think it's a good opportunity. Like for us, for example, for our small group of volunteers, we came from different disciplines, as I said. Although we came from different backgrounds, some are in architecture, some are in software engineer, even some are in business. So with that kind of event, we got to get a glimpse of how the university has this initiative towards a greater cause, not just within the UWA itself, although the initiative starts from UWA, but we can get a glimpse of what we can do even after we graduate from the university. Yeah, it's a good opportunity. Like, so I also move around the different booths, and I got to see some initiatives from conservation group, from how we can save our waste for landfills, etc. So yeah, it's a nice showcase of different groups, societies, both public and private, even the academic groups, towards achieving one goal.
I love that you're saying that you went around to see the different booths that were there. Do you think that you will now carry out an action or do something related to having visited any of those booths?
Yeah, definitely. On my part, so I'm kind of busy writing stuff and doing experiment, but probably there's at the back of my mind, there's like, oh, we can do something about it, even in a small initiative, like just a group of different disciplines from the higher degree by research group, like sit down and think about something we can put out there, just to bring in people to just to create awareness on these challenges that we are facing now, and how we can contribute a little, do something from on our part. It opened my eyes and opened the opportunity. Like, oh, even if you're busy doing academics, doing research, you can still do something to contribute towards that goal.
I like that. It kind of helped to show what other things there were, and it also helped to kind of get you thinking about what kind of things you can do as well. So that's really cool. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that reflection. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
It was obvious that these organizers are finding ways to prove that a single afternoon at EnviroFest can indeed grow into a more sustainable future. But as we've heard today, no organization can tackle these challenges in isolation. It is clear that the goal of events like EnviroFest is collaboration and reflection. To close our episode, we return to Julia for a final look at the bigger picture. What do you hope a student could take away with them from EnviroFest?
I hope they get to take away just that nature is, obviously we have to protect it, and that it's a limited resource, and to make sure that, say, if you're going to uni, you're bringing a keep cup, or like you're maybe looking to get involved in beach cleanups and stuff like that, and just in general thinking about your waste that you're producing as well as your carbon emissions and stuff, and how to be more environmentally friendly.
What do you have to say for people who turn up for EnviroFest this year?
I think just, spend a bit of time going around the stalls, asking questions and like speaking to all the different charities and clubs and stuff there, and just really enjoy it, as well as find out more about how you can be more sustainable, whether it's just a small thing like bringing a keep cup or like using the Containers for Change scheme to recycle your containers and stuff like that.
If you're planning on heading down to EnviroFest later this year, or if you're just looking for ways to support our local organizations in the meantime, I encourage you to look for the ones that spark your interest and connect with them. For more information and to stay updated, follow the UWA Guild Environment Department on Instagram for the latest events and how you can get involved. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.
Thanks for listening. Find us online at thepsychomcollective.com. That's com with 2 M's. Questions or comments about today's episode? Get in touch on Instagram at the Psychom Collective.